As Jim said, my name is Mike Henderson. I'm the joint owner of Indian Laser Clinic. We're in Rozelle, west of Sydney. We're fortunate enough to be one of 5 tattoo removal within a kilometre radius. Fortunately, we're the only Q+C. We've been open actually 5 months, myself and Chloe, so we're back. How I started, my background's a mining background, and Chloe was working for a wine company. We just saw a gap in the market. It actually started with my brother, who was getting some removal done himself, and kind of snowballed from there.
So why from mining to the tattooing?
Obviously I've got a few tattoos myself. I'm covered. So it's always something that's interested me. I'm not artistic enough to put them on. And when my brother told me his experience with tattoo removal, it didn't sound very positive. We just thought that we could do better. Obviously, some basic research will tell everyone here that tattoo removal is a growth industry, although there are many operators around, especially Sydney. I think we're in the most competitive environment in Australia for tattoo removal. So yeah, it was a joint inspiration. It was also, something we had been looking at doing business for a while, myself and my partner. We both actually still work full-time jobs. It's not something that we have grown to a point yet to sustain itself. We're still a fair way off that. So we're both we're pretty busy. We're both working. Understanding what people want, I think they just want all the garbage to be taken out. Tattoo removal is half sales, unfortunately, and half the product. There's still people out there using IPL, and they seem to be staying afloat, removing tattoos using IPL, which everyone's aware of. We see it almost weekly, clients covered in scarring. We can't really share those photos here, but for anyone in the future who opens themselves.
So this customer, when they come to you and they done tattoo remover by IPL, did they understand IPL is not the right?
There's not enough information out there. They just hear tattoo removal, and you assume, especially every other industry is highly regulated, you assume that this would have some sort of regulation, and someone performing the procedure would be trained and able to do it and be equipped with the technology, but unfortunately the industry isn't at that point yet, which we hope to see in the future. The best choice for the right machine. As far as we know, this is the best machine for tattoo removal. Everyone knows about the Pico Shore, the Pico second technology that's out, but something I keep saying is show me the photos. They're not there.
They don't have it.
They don't exist.
Don't have it. Doesn't exist any medical reference.
Oh yeah, there's photos out there, but you'll see from company to company, they're using the same photos provided to them by the distributor, which is very convenient. We've got several clients from Pico second technology treatments. It's been effective on the black. Maybe some evidence of reducing by 1 treatment. Some evidence, but yet to see photos. Reds, yellows, orange, not effective. Unfortunately, one of our clients is she's getting married and was promised a 5 treatment plan, which is something common. They're promising 5 treatments, but they're doubling the price. So after 5 treatments, they treat for free, but if they've charged you double, they can treat you 10 times to still pay the same amount. This is a very clever.
We can do that too, mate.
Yeah.
We can promise 5.
That's what I mean. I can do it now.
The next 5 are free.
But it still evens out. And if they get it off in 9, then they've made more money than us treating you, charging for 9 treatments.
So did you get some feedback about that?
Yeah. So
they said how many?
they guaranteed 5. I think she went for 6, and then she realised her wedding's coming up. She's got, I think it's some. It's actually Chloe's client. She's got some birds with red inner and the black outline. The black was completely gone almost, but the red is and the blue was very effectively treated by the Pico's second laser. But as far as the red goes, it has not faded at all. We've treated her once, and she's extremely happy. She's come back, I think, for her second treatment, and the progress with the Q+C on the reds is, I haven't yet to see anything even close. You'll see that in some slides. When my business started, we started the ball really rolling last June, and it kind of we explored some other machines. One particular machine with an interchangeable diode handpiece. I'm not sure if we can mention the name.
The die.
The die handpiece. The die handpiece. Sorry.
The die.
It's not something. Unfortunately, he was a very good salesman, and we almost got tricked into it. We're very glad we didn't, because we met with Jim the following week, and we've stayed with them since. We were sold on the technology rather than the sales pitch, which is very similar, I guess, to the tattoo removal. There's people with a very good sales pitch but the bad technology, and they're still making money. It's obviously our first machine, hopefully not our last. Business planning. Myself and Chloe, I guess, have put a lot of time, thousands and thousands of hours, and the preparation that we put into before we even thought about the shop, the location, was there was a lot of time. I can't really put a number on it, but I think for 6 months for both of us, so call it 12 months for an individual, and that was basically every waking minute. The marketing, we haven't employed anyone for marketing. We do all of our own marketing. Facebook and Instagram, social media, we're both in the young category, so we use this a lot ourselves personally before we started the business. It's been our most effective form of advertising, but also it's very cost effective in our opinion. Cost per click, we trialled it and it's just too competitive. It has its place, but for us, Facebook and other forms of marketing. Also the SEO is something worth mentioning. And this is more of a long-term marketing strategy. You won't get a return on this for a number of months. And when you do, it's very hard to track anyway. You don't know what the return on investment is. Whereas with the Facebook advertising, it's very easy to track. You can tell your customers, they know where they've come from. Training. Basically, we studied a skin science course. It was made for tattoo removal with Sydney College. Jim touched on it earlier. We found it was effective to give some beginners a knowledge of the skin and the application of tattoo removal, but there was also some things in there that were wrong, which we've come to realise now. But the training, I guess you get a couple of days with Jim. This training is very effective as well to get you the ball rolling, but for the most part it's learn on the job. The training is done by yourself in the clinic. You're set up to get a start, but your first treatments and your ongoing first 6 months, we're still learning every day now. It would be foolish to think that we've finished learning at this point. Understanding for the application, again, they can write whatever they want about the most effective way to treat different inks, but as we've found, sometimes you get someone come in and they completely throw you off. Some people with the purples, especially ruby or the 1064, possibly even the 532. You just got to see what works and try it. This is just a photo of the front of our shop. Probably worth mentioning, we started in a smaller location, right in the mix of all the tattoo removal clinics in Rozelle. It's on Darling Street. They all continue down into Balmain. There's 5 that we know of, but possibly more using IPL.
Using still.
Yeah, I know for one for certain that is using pretty close to us. We realised that our business had grown to a point where we wanted to move into a better place, and we've since moved only 4 weeks ago. We opened up in the new shop. So this is one guy after 2 treatments. He's actually a friend of mine. He I think had gone somewhere else and they didn't give him a very good outlook, but this is after 2 treatments with the tribals, very thick ink in the middle with some shading around the edge. He's since had his 3rd, and I've contacted him again and he's very happy with the progress. When we started off, we started out by telling people 10 treatments just to make sure that they were happy. That's pretty much across the board. It's just, I guess, anyone that you give them a number of treatments, you're only guessing, and anyone else who gives them a number of treatments is guessing as well. Every person's skin reacts differently, and we've found this. One of our good friends who came in, she's had 2 treatments with very little results, but it's a very thick ink on the wrist, so far away from the heart. We find anything on the torso with the high blood flow removes much quicker. As you get out to your extremities, the process slows down. So yeah, we're finding the 10. We've now started saying you're looking at an average of 7, but it can be, we know, up to 12. I've seen Darren's 12, 13 treatments, I think, some of them. But of course it's important for us to set a realistic expectation from the start, unlike these other. I have some confidence that these clinics setting 5 treatment guarantees won't last very long. You're not going to get many happy customers by guaranteeing something that you can't achieve. This is another one. This is actually it's a three-time cover-up. In the centre there is a blue tattoo originally, which was then covered up with a tiger, which it looks more like a tiger on the right, and he still wasn't happy, so they coloured into this abomination on the left, a panther. So basically it's a fairly small tattoo just covered up into a black blob. He was very doubtful when he came to us about the ability to remove it, but after 3 treatments you can see that we're getting some clean skin showing through back to its normal state, with the thicker parts moving more slowly, but he's well on his way to a full removal. This is another one with the red. After the 3 treatments, complete removal of the red, which I'd be challenging anyone with a pico laser to send me a photo of a similar result. She was as surprised as us with the results. We're finding that more and more we're getting people in, and we're changing the goals of how long we think it's going to take to remove the tattoos. And finally, this is who we think will be our first full removal. We're getting pretty close with 3 treatments. She's since been back for her 4th, and we expect, hopefully, maybe 1 more. All the skin is turning back to completely normal underneath. Just the outline basically left with what we hope will be clean skin pretty soon. The challenge is the public is very doubtful about tattoo removal. Everything you read in the media is negative because you only hear about, like everything with a restaurant, someone is likely to write a bad review before a good one. You only hear about the horror stories, you don't hear about the 1,000 people out there who've been to a reputable clinic and achieved the results that they want. They just go out with their clean skin and tell the people in their immediate circles. It's something I guess all of us are challenged with spreading the word for. It is achievable if done correctly, but unfortunately there's still those operators out there ruining it for the good guys. Hopefully in the future New South Wales will regulate it, probably not as strictly as Western Australia, hopefully, or we're all in trouble. I don't think that has its place because they can charge whatever they want, these doctors, and I've checked the prices and they are charging exorbitant prices. Oh, you wouldn't even think about it. But yeah, this is another one. This is probably the worst tattoo I've ever seen. I think that's abuse. This is what I'd call that.
Who's that supposed to be?
Oh, I think it was a geisha. Is that how you say the word? So he's probably the most. That's probably got to be one of the most difficult tattoos to treat. It's an hour session. He won't come back in 2 sessions. He wants it done in 1. It's an hour non-stop on the full speed. We are having some success with it, but this is a realistic expectation of what you've got, what you're up against with a full colour tattoo. The blue is still fading up the top. We've had a very good result with the face. The red again was pretty quick to remove. Underneath it was some purple shading, which he didn't know about. Even the black, but the purple is probably the slowest to move in this case. He's probably been the most challenging to treat. He's since contacted me since his last treatment, and he's pretty happy with the result of the purple now. So moving forward, I think he's got a good chance. He wants full removal, but at this stage, so he's in for a pretty long journey, I believe. It'll be something, you know. I'm glad with this one I told him 10 treatments because I can't see it being any less than that. But because we set realistic expectations, that's what he's got, and he's pretty happy with the progress so far. He is aware that he's got the option of a cover up, and I think towards down the track, that's something he'll probably go with. Just talking to him.
What do you do with that?
Yeah, it can't get any worse. His other option was just colouring it in black, which I still probably would have considered rather than keeping it. What is my next step? We're definitely not in a position to leave our day jobs at the moment. We work 3 days in the clinic each. So we'll continue to grow the business. We're happy with its growth at the moment. We're sitting at 120 clients. It comes and goes. It grows and then it slows. You have some really good weeks, then you have some slow weeks. But like any business, it's foolish to expect to make money in the first 12 months. And if you are, you're probably not putting enough back in. We try to invest as much as we can to grow our brand and our image from the start, and it's something I think we're doing well. We think we've got a good reputation, and by all accounts we do. We haven't had any unhappy clients at this point, and just about everyone comes back. You will find that the people who come in and ask you, first question is, how much does it cost? Forget about them. They're not coming back because there is people around the corner doing it for $30, $50, but you're going to get what you pay for. We're probably at this point a little bit too cheap, running our prices too cheap for what we're providing, but the competitiveness of our area is pushing that. We do plan, as our business grows, to move our prices up with how busy we are, to balance it out and charge a fair price for the service. The next step, the long-term plan is to open a second location. It's on the horizon, but it's pretty far. It's an optimistic view at this point, but we can see the potential if you grow the brand properly. I wouldn't like to see someone make a mistake of thinking that the Quanta system is just going to provide you with endless opportunities of a business. It's up to the individual and the user to build the reputation, because there are people out there with good reputations and lower end technology, but they're still making a killing. There's people ahead of us in line, and I know they're using the inferior product, but I think as the time goes on and people realise more and more what tattoo removal is about, they'll slowly close down. I think the future personally is in picosecond technology. I just don't think it's at the level yet that we need. You need something that can be applied across every tattoo. To be able to have to send someone elsewhere to treat parts of their tattoo is not something we'd ever be willing to consider. Once there's a machine on the market which can target every colour effectively with evidence and case studies and more than the 2 grainy images that we've seen thrown around by endless companies, that would be when we'd be willing to go with that option. Any questions?